Hi Europe and Australia, it's Eurovision Ireland and we're back with our seventh and final review of the songs from the 2021 contest. Firstly, let's introduce the panel. We've got our regular James.
Hi everyone.
We have a certain First Lady of Eurovision here tonight, Nikki.
Hello.
Welcome.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I hope you
say
enjoy.
That after I've reviewed the songs.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Right, next we have Sarah.
Hello everyone.
And Bogdan.
Hi everyone.
And Richard.
Hi all.
And me, John, and Staggy, who might keep cropping up because he likes some of tonight's songs, he tells me. He's not shut up about one or two of them. So it's our final review. We're going to reviewing is sort of the rest of the West, because the big five and the Netherlands take up a huge chunk of Western Europe. This is the rest of Western Europe. So tonight we have Belgium, Ireland, Malta, Portugal, San Marino and Switzerland. I almost forgot one then. There we go. We're each going to take one of these. At the end, when we review them all, we're each going to give them a score out of 10. Because there's 6 of us, we're going to ditch the lowest score, so it gets a score out of 50, as we've done with the others. You can see from our website, the articles, who's leading at the moment, and see if there could be a new winner tonight. And at the end of tonight, we should know Eurovision Ireland's favourite song for 2021. So we're going to kick off with Portugal. Now, Portugal had a national final this year. They've not gone for last year's entrant. And the winner of the national final was the Black Mamba with their song.
Sorry.
Love is on my side.
I'm ready for this, yeah. Yeah.
At least someone's prepared. Thank you.
You know, I'd written 5 down. There was a 6th one. I couldn't remember who it was. I'm like, oh yeah, Portugal. Yeah. Portugal had a national final, and the winners were the Black Mamba with the song "Love Is On Your Side." So over to James.
Okay, so I want to start out by saying that Portugal, we absolutely loved being in Lisbon, and we would love to go back to Lisbon for Eurovision. Some people have suggested that since winning Eurovision, Portugal sort of returned a bit to form, you know, very traditional, that sort of fado sound, and I think "Love Is On My Side" does sort of fall into that category. It's notable for the fact that it's the first Portuguese entry ever sung entirely in English, so I think that's to be commended. Yeah, I do like this song. It's got a very soft melody to it. It feels very traditional, very gentle. It's the kind of thing that I can imagine if you're in Lisbon, you're watching the sunset over the ocean, you've got your Virginia, you know, you're sitting there, life's good. You know, it's a perfect soundtrack for that if you're at a taverna somewhere. For one of the biggest TV shows in Europe, I kind of wonder if it's a bit too tame, a bit too gentle. That's my initial thought. The lead singer's got a very unique quality to his voice, which I think will help him stand out. But yeah, as much as I like it, and I think it's a beautiful piece of music, and I love the story behind the song and the lyrics, I do fear for Portugal's chances quite a bit. I think there are sort of songs in the semi-final that have a lot more instant impact, and I wonder if poor Portugal will get trampled, which would be a real shame.
Thanks, James. Nikki, what do you think of the Portuguese song?
I absolutely love it. I really do. It's and as you say, it's the fado sort of style, but with a bit more sort of pop sounding to it as well. He on the video that we can see, he actually, you can tell that he can sing it live, because some of these we don't know what they're going to be like singing live. It's obviously, it's got memories of Salvador, but I just love it. It's like a sort of old 80s good old pop ballad. I think it's got a lovely tune. I think it builds well. Yeah, it's clean and it's clear. I really do like it, and certainly I prefer it to what they were going to be putting in last year. I think this is lovely. I do kind of agree with James about it may get lost, but we just don't know. I mean, that's the beauty of Eurovision, isn't it? We all sort of, we watch the videos, the official videos, and then when it comes to the semi-finals, the final, you just don't know what's going to happen. But I think they are a strong band. They know what they're doing. They're not going to get daunted, and I love it. I really do.
Thanks, Nikki. Sarah, what's your take?
Right. I've got mixed feelings about it, really. I do agree with James in that I think that Portugal have lost their way since they won with Salvador in 2017 and then hosted the whole thing. And I do think it's kind of been a little bit of a downhill slide since then. And I was really sort of hoping this year that they were going to really pick something sort of similar along the lines to Salvador, maybe sort of with also similar to Ojardim, which in 2018, which I loved. Having said that, I think when I first saw this performance, it really took me back to my childhood days when I used to sit up with my parents late at night at the weekends watching something like Sunday Night at the London Palladium. It just reminded me of one of those kind of acts. It's a nice, gentle song, and I like the fact that it's sung in English and they've diverted completely away from Portuguese. That's a very ambitious of them. I give them credit for doing that. The problem I've got with it is that I don't feel it's quite sort of, I kind of feel it's not really sort of suited for Eurovision. I think it's more like a nice radio friendly song or something that you would see on something like Sunday Night at the London Palladium, as it used to be. I think it might just get lost. There's a lot of strong entries this year in the contest, and I just think it's just going to get lost. I think it might just miss out on qualification. I don't think it's going to be down the bottom end of the semi-final contestants, but I just think it's just going to miss out. There's just going to be something that bit stronger that's just going to beat it to it.
Thanks, Sarah. Bogdan, over to you.
Well, certainly this song has a nostalgic feeling, like we all said. Like this song, you will definitely enjoy it on your own. You're in, like, I don't know, or maybe with someone else enjoying a glass of something. It's a romantic song. It's nostalgic. It's a ballad that we all enjoy. But I'm not sure it has enough power to connect with the audience back home, because right now I don't see that impact, that oomph, that song that you would instantly recognize and remember to vote for it. Juries, yes, they might give them some points, but I don't see the public giving it points. It's just not memorable enough. I'm sorry, but if you hear it once in the mix of all the other songs in the semi-final, I'm afraid Portugal will get lost. And like others have said, I don't see Portugal qualifying this year. I'm really sorry.
Okay, Richard, what do you think?
I think Sarah hit the nail on the head. It's a very easy listening sort of tune you'd listen to on the radio. For me, it didn't really get going, and that was just my honest opinion. I think it's very brave doing it all in English. It's either really going to work for them or really not going to work for them. But I do feel they're going to really suffer in qualification for the final.
Thanks, Richard. Okay, I covered the Festival de Cancel for the vlogs earlier in the year, and I was really surprised when this one won. I thought there were a lot of other more noteworthy songs in the semis and the final that obviously didn't win. So I was quite surprised when this one won. It's in English, which was a bit novel. It's a decent song in itself, in its own right. It's a decent 3 minutes of music, but I'm not sure whether it's a contest song. I don't know whether this is the right place for it. It strikes as more of a soundtrack for a film. It's a film soundtrack song. Something, you know, summer days, just a bit of something to link to very interesting scenes, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's what it suits more for me. I think he might struggle to get through to the final, but as a song in its own right, it's not that bad.
So I'm in a minority of one.
I should tell our viewer that we all write our reviews completely independently. There's no cheating going off, and our views are our own. Right, moving on. Our next review tonight is Ireland. Hooray! Staggy's already impressed. He's very pleased so far. Now, Ireland have picked Leslie Roy, who was picked to go to Rotterdam last year, and her song this year is called Maps. And the person to kick this one off is Nikki. Over to you.
God. All right, no pressure then. I just want to say well done, Ireland, for this one. I think I love it again. Hey, nice little flag there. Yeah, I haven't got an Irish flag on me. Yeah, it's got energy. It's again, haven't heard her sing live. I watched one of the videos that was on the Late Late Show, but then she mimed it. So but I really like this. I think it's got a really good tune. It's got a really good energy to it. It's got pace. And I mean, I think this is one of Ireland's best chances in a long time to actually come through and get to the final without having to scrape in. I think people will like it. It's got a good mix of feels to it as well. So I think it's going to appeal to other areas of the Eurovision network. So yeah, it's got essentially a Western sound, but then there's little inklings of other bits of the Eurovision network, I think. And I really do think it's going to do so much better for Ireland than usual.
Thanks, Nikki. Sarah, you'll go. I'm
with Nick. I think Ireland did really well this year. I think Leslie Roy is a good singer. And I like the song. It's modern, it's contemporary, it's happy, it's cheerful. And this is the kind of thing we want, really. After such a miserable year, we need happy, bouncy tunes, and this fits the bill, really. I would love to see Ireland qualify. They've had a few problems over the last years, and I think with this, I think they could well do it. I don't think it'll be sort of right in the top 5 of the 10 selected, but I think it's going to come maybe bottom end of the top 10 in the semi-final. What it will do in the final if it gets there, remains to be seen. As I said before, there's a lot of strong entries this year, but I really would like to see Leslie do well.
Thanks, Sarah. Bogdan, what do you think of Ireland?
Well, I just have to echo what Nikki and Sarah have said. It's a lovely song, and it has such a nice beat that you just enjoy it from the first listening. And you can connect to the lyrics as well, because after such a long year, you know that sometimes you're searching for stuff and you don't know where you are, you're a little bit lost, but in the end, at home is where your heart is. And yeah, you can connect to this song, and I think Les is gonna show us some tricks, and I've heard that her show is gonna have something special this year, and I'm quite looking forward to see what the stage is gonna look like. She shouldn't have any problem qualifying. So fingers crossed. Yeah, I think, like others have said, this is the best chance Ireland has had in a long time.
Thanks, Bogdan. What do you think, Richard?
I'm going to echo everything everybody else has said. Admittedly, last year's story of my life took a bit of getting used to, but actually it's still one of my favourites from last year now. But this year it grabbed me instantly. She'll perform socks off it. I know we haven't heard it live yet, but I just have that feeling, and I hope they don't put backing dancers, backing singers on stage, because I want them to purely focus on her, the viewers. And the interesting thing, I've got a work colleague who's Irish, and every year she's saying, "Oh, this isn't very good," or "This isn't very good." When she heard this year's entry, not only did she love it, she said the same thing about the UK, which is completely rare for Caroline. So they're onto a good thing, I think.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Should get through to the grand final. It's in a bit of a bloodbath of a semi, but it's definitely, in the top 10 to get through. It's nicely upbeat. It's positive. It's really upbeat. There's a modern sound to it. I'm sure it could be a bit of a floor filler as well in the with the right crowd. Nothing wrong with it at all. I want to see Leslie into the final, and this should be one that can do it. James, you can finish off.
I echo what everyone else says, really. I loved it from the first listen. It had really impacted it. One thing that I really liked, it's very, very subtle, but if you listen to the opening chords, there's this very slight hint of Celtic music in there, which I really appreciate. It's sort of got the drum beat and the strings and everything, and Nikki was saying it's sort of quite a modern sound. So I was like, but there's that nice little nod to traditional Irish as well, which I really liked. It's very upbeat, it's very positive. I think the message of the song, a lot of people are going to connect to, as Sarah said, after quite a difficult year. You know, I fell twice, I'm twice as strong. That's the message that we all need now. And yeah, that idea that things have been crazy, we're all sort of running around clutching at everything, and actually, you know, okay, this is the way we need to go. I think that's a message that people are going to hear, and yeah, that's what I need to do. So I think Ireland have done a fantastic job. I would love to see it get through to the final. I think there's a better chance for it to get through to the final than some people are thinking. But yeah, I think Ireland have done an absolutely amazing job with this, and I can't remember who said it, but yeah, I think it's possibly one of the strongest Irish entries for a good few years.
That was me.
Thanks, guys. Leslie, if you're watching, Eurovision Ireland likes you.
Yay!
Good.
Well, that's a relief.
Right. Now we've still got 4 other songs to review, and the next one is Switzerland. I've got that one written down. The next song we're reviewing is Switzerland, and it's John's Tears. He's back again with Tu l'univers, a song in French, shock horror. And Sarah's going to start with this one.
Oh, wow. Well, you probably guessed that I picked to review this one because it's one of my absolute favourites this year. I was a big fan of Répondez-moi last year, and as we all remember that, if we all remember, that was tipped as a possible winner. And I did not think that he could top this, he could absolutely top that. And when I first sat down to listen to the reveal, and it started off really quite slowly, and I thought, oh no, this isn't going to be as good as Répondez-moi. But then it built up, you get the orchestra coming in, and then you get, it just builds up, and then you get this, you know, and I just thought, wow, yeah, he has actually equalled Répondez-moi. I don't think he's beaten Répondez-moi by any means, but this is really good. Yeah, it's got a story behind it. It's got a message behind it. I love the message saying that the only person who can get yourself out of a difficult situation sometimes is yourself. And that was reflected in the video. I love the way that the video told a story. And I would hope that when it comes to the staging, we're going to see something along those lines. Because I think he's going to need that to bring across the message of the song to people at home. Because obviously a lot of people out there will not understand French. He's got a lovely voice. I just absolutely love his music. He's just got a fantastic voice. He's one of the favourites, no surprise. He's at the moment, last time I looked, he was topping the OGE polls. I think it's going to be in there. It's definitely no two ways about it. It's going to qualify, and it's going to be fighting for the win on the final night.
Thanks, Sarah. Bogdan, over to you.
Well, definitely John has one of the best voices in this contest, that's hands down. And my only problem with this song is that it comes so soon after Arcade, and it feels like has a bit of Arcade in it, and I don't like that. I would have liked something more original. I know people might judge me for that, but from my point of view, it is a beautiful song. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful song. I like it. I like his voice. It has all the elements, all ticks all the boxes, except one box for me. It's not that original, and another tiny little box. I don't like hearing it on repeat. I could listen to it once and enjoy it, and then I don't want to hear it again for another, I don't know, a few days. But I'm gonna compare it with Arcade, so don't have me with that. While with Arcade, I can enjoy listening to it over and over again. This one, maybe because it's in French, I'm not enjoying it as much. It will definitely be in top 5 or even higher, and it will definitely qualify. It is a lovely song, but I'm not sure if it's the winner.
Thanks, Bogdan. Richard, what do you think of John's Tears?
Funnily enough, I also put it's the French version of Arcade. John Sears vocals you can't fault. I thought the song was a bit slow to get going, but when it did get going, there was drama and stuff. But I think in terms of the dramatic element, the staging is going to form a key part of that. And obviously it's a song contest, not a staging contest, but I don't think the song is strong enough on its own without the dramatic effects around it. It'll qualify easily, but admittedly, I do prefer Répondez Moi from last year.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Yeah, I think the Swiss are onto something with this. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best French song in this year. Best of two. Best French song in this year. And the guy's got a cracking voice. It does sound a bit like Arcade, but Arcade's currently a bit of a TikTok hit. So people might hear it and think, that sounds like something I've heard recently and I like the sound of that, so I'm going to vote for it. Admittedly, I think it's going to appeal more to the juries and to the televote, but it's still going to tap into some of the televote. He's going to get a following throughout Eastern Europe, I think, because of his backstory. So that might go in his favour as well. It's going to breeze through that semi-final because I think it's the weaker of the two semi-finals, and it could well win it. It could well win that semi-final. And if it gets the plum draw, maybe 3/4 of the way through, we could be looking at Zurich next year. James, over to you.
I'm thinking now, after you've said that about TikTok and arcades and sort of tapping into a sound, I might oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's that's something to think about. John's vocals are amazing. You can't fault them. He's got a very clear, very powerful, very melodic voice. I do feel the first time I listened to it, I felt like it was a bit slow to start, but once it finally hit that sort of bridge, it really sort of soared, and I think that's really good. It will sort of grab people's attention like that. I can see winning the second semi-final quite easily. I think winning second semi-final with that. Going forward in the final, I know it's one of the ones that's tipped to win. I'm not convinced yet. Part of me wonders if it's sort of coming, as Bogdan said, sort of too soon on the, on the trail of Arcade. I think the juries are going to love it, and it will most likely, I see it finishing in the top 3. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. Not sure I see it as a winner, but yeah, Switzerland have done a fantastic job, and I wouldn't be at all surprised. I'm not sure it'll be this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the next, say, 3 to 5 years that we're in Switzerland again. And it's been a long time since 1989, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a while since then.
Lausanne. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, James. Nikki, over to you.
Yeah, I've also written, reminds me a bit of Duncan Lawrence's Winner. So there we are. Very dramatic, very, very haunting, an extremely exposed vocal. So he has to nail it. He's got no choice. He will, it's so exposed, it's so stripped back that, if he doesn't nail it, it's like, that's it. But obviously, he's got a phenomenal voice, and it will be stunning if he does nail it. It is dramatic. It's haunting. I'm so sorry. It's not my favourite. Yes, it will qualify, I'm sure, but it's just it's almost too dramatic for me. It's almost like it's chucking all the different essences in. Just to give it sort of an individuality, so that people say, oh, that's individual, let's vote for it. And sometimes that does work and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm unsure with this one. As I say, if he nails the vocal, then yes, it's going to be stunning. But a bit like with Salvador, when Salvador nailed it, it was very, very exposed, but it was also very intimate, whereas this is full-on emotion, and the complete opposite end of the scale, if you like. But if he nails it, then yeah, it's quite possible. But I tend to agree with James. I'm not sure that it's the winner, but could be. Who knows? That's why we love Eurovision.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Nikki. So that was Switzerland. General thumbs up from everyone. Moving on to the little serene republic perched high on a mountain in Italy. We're going to San Marino, and this next song is Adrenalina by Senhit. And Bogdan's going to kick off the review for this one.
Right. So when San Marino announced that the review song was going to be just right after the final of Sanremo, so oh, that's a bit of a bold move. And San Marino this year has been, I think, one of the biggest shocker reveals for me, because I wasn't expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was definitely not expecting Adrenalina. Yeah, it's a very happy song. It gets you moving. It's a bop, and as a novelty, it has Florida, which has never happened before, to have a famous rapper appearing on a Eurovision stage. So, or I don't know, virtually or not, we shall see about that. But yeah, I think San Marino has done really well, considering all the odds. And what I like about Senhit is that she's really trying to connect with her audience. Ever since last year, she's been putting several videos of her covering different Eurovision songs. So she's reaching the audience. She's trying to connect with the fans, and she's giving us so many versions of Eurovision hits. And she just loves Eurovision. You can see that. And I really hope that on the stage we're gonna see some choreography, because the video is so static, and this song deserves a choreography. Otherwise, I might be in trouble. We need a really good choreography for this song, so we can all dance. We need a happy song, so let's go for it.
Thanks, Bogdan. James, San Marino, what do you think? Richard,
Yeah.
Richard, San Marino, what do you think?
Senhit certainly has a unique style, vocally and look and performance-wise. Last year, it really took a bit of time for me to like Freaky, and I can still listen to it now, but it's not a favourite of last year. I find Adrenalina a bit too modern for my liking. I'm not a fan of rap, and in general, rap doesn't work at Eurovision. So I don't really know how well it's going to go down. And quite frankly, I don't understand why this is a favourite. It'll get to the final because everything that's around it. But yeah, it's not a favourite for mine.
That's Richard. Yeah, I mean, when she was in Eurovision 10 years ago, she was like this very sort of almost a Shrinking Violet sort of character. So I don't know what's gone off in the last 10 years, or 9 and 10 years, but this song, it doesn't so much say vote for me. It actually hits all 5 senses and grabs you by the scruff of the neck and says, vote for me. And then they throw in a top American rapper to boot, which they just have to be careful that he doesn't overshadow her, because he is a bigger name worldwide as Flo Rida. It's a cracking little song, great for radio. Got the rap in it. It's modern. It's very contemporary. I think it's going to hoover up televotes, not just from general Eurovision fans, but fans of Flo Rida and people perhaps wanting to go to a contest in San Marino. How the juries will react, I don't really know. It's going to get through to the final. It could well be there in the shake-up. But San Marino, I'm very pleased with what you've done this year. Now we'll go to James.
Well, I want to start by echoing what Bogdan said initially. When San Marino announced that they were going to reveal their song the day after San Remo, I do remember looking at that thinking, that's actually suicide. Why would you contemplate doing that? You know, San Remo is just such a big name for Eurovision, you know, the Eurovision sphere. So, you know, people always react to it. There's always this sort of big outpouring of attention over Italy. So I thought San Marino trying to muscle in on that seems like a really bizarre idea. But I'm so glad they did. They really, you know, like you said, grab you by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm here. And that was what the song did. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, when I think back to said that, you know, in Dusseldorf, you know, very sort of quiet and mousy and everything, and now it's like, you know, purple wigs and, you know, woo, really grabbing your attention. It's absolutely fantastic to watch. The televote is going to absolutely love her. It's really upbeat. It's got a good dance sound to it. There's even a slight sort of like riff in there. It almost sounds like Bollywood music, sort of that horn sound in the middle there. And I think I've always said that sort of that's the one kind of music that we haven't heard at Eurovision. So that's another checklist for the contest. Yeah, I can see this doing very well. And San Marino, I think there's a lot of love out there for them. You know, this plucky little country taking part in this huge international competition. There's a lot of love for San Marino. And I think this year they're going to see a sort of big return on that love. I think it's a cracking opening for the second semi-final. I see it qualifying, and yeah, I think in all honesty, we're going to see San Marino's best ever finish at Eurovision with this, and I can't wait to see it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, James. More positivity. Nikki, are you positive about San Marino as well?
Yeah, I am quite positive. I mean, as we know, it's quite a big fan favourite. Very catchy, and like James has just said, it's kind of got different influences in the song to appeal to like the different geographical styles, if you like. There's sort of a bit of every way that I can and things like that in there almost. There's something lacking in it for me, but it could just be because at the moment we're just watching the video and it's so incredibly colourful. I mean, she can't just keep changing wigs on stage, can she? Yes.
Never know.
Well, she might be able to, but it's you know, again, it's got to have that performance side to it as well. And I will say that this was when I played all these again today and just sort of checked all my notes, this was the one that for the rest of the day I've had in my brain. So who knows, but as you said, John, she's a seasoned Eurovision performer, and it's going to be very special for her to be back. I mean, it's going to be very different for her to be back, but it'll be exciting for her, and as you say, you know, San Marino has a little special place for everybody because we want them to be the plucky ones that do well, sort of thing, and it could well do. Definitely, I think it's better than last year's. So yeah, good luck to her. But I do wonder how she's going to emulate the liveliness of the video. Well, I say liveliness, the colours of the video with, you know, sort of just changing loads of wigs on stage. I don't think that's going to happen somehow. So there's going to have to be a dance routine of some sort.
Thanks, Nikki. Sarah, over to you.
Little San Marino. Who would have thought they'd have come up with sort of a little gem like this? It's very in your face. Well, certainly the video is anyway. And as Nikki said, I just wonder whether she can replicate any of that on stage. If she could, then wow, I'd hand all credit to her if she could. But somehow I don't think the wig changing is going to happen. It's very bouncy. It's very upbeat. It's something that you can sort of dance along to. I think it's going to go down really well with the televote. I'm not so sure how the juries are going to take to it, but yes, San Marino, I think you're onto something. I think definitely qualification this year, and who knows what she'll do in the final.
Thanks. Staggy likes it too. Easily pleased. Right, moving on. We now go to another little micro-state. One way out in the Mediterranean. It's Malta, and they've picked a previous winner of Junior Eurovision and the singer they chose last year. So Destiny is back, and she's with the song Je me casse. Richard, you're going to kick off this one.
So Destiny won Junior back in 2015 in Sofia, Bulgaria. And obviously back then, it was such a grown-up voice, which is carried on, and I couldn't believe when she won. So when I got back to work, just played the song. Work colleagues couldn't believe it was a teenager singing at that point. So she had a very Aretha Franklin sort of sound about her. After that, she tried with Britain's Got Talent, and I think she made the semi-finals with that, but didn't get through to the final. And even back then, when she sang at the London Eurovision party, I think you could hear a pin drop because everybody was just so shocked that this small human being could sing so powerfully. because obviously a lot of people that go to London Eurovision aren't junior Eurovision fans, so I think that was the shock element for them. Destiny, even in 2021, she still delivers vocally, she still delivers performance-wise, and she still has that sass about her. But what's been interesting, she's done an orchestral version, she's done an acoustic version, and each time she hasn't failed to deliver. Everything has just been on point. So I think we could potentially see our first junior winner become a Eurovision winner.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I was there in Sofia when she won junior, and the star quality, just coming out of a pause, it really was. It's like, this person is going to be a massive star. You know, she's going to be set aside for the big Eurovision in years to come, when she was in Sofia. And sure enough, this song, it just ticks so many boxes. She sells it well. We've heard her perform live many a time. It's got quite a current theme running through it, so it ticks that box as well. It's going to breeze through its semi-final. It could even win it, and it's going to get through to the final. And I think we could be looking at the Mediterranean's happiest rock getting a little bit happier come the 22nd of May. This one and one other song that we've already reviewed are my two favourites this year. So if either of those win, I'd be perfectly happy. And if she doesn't win this year, she's going to be back, because I think she is going to be the first person to win junior and Big ESC at some point. Massive tick from me. James.
Oh, wow. I mean, what can we say about Destiny? I was there in the hall the night as well in Sofia, and she just has such an amazing voice. I remember there was a Bulgarian family sat next to me, and the moment she opened her mouth and sort of hit those notes, they said to me, they said in Bulgarian, they're like, yeah, is she the new Aretha Franklin? Yep, she definitely is. And I remember so many conversations in that press centre saying, this girl needs to sing for Malta at Eurovision one day. And last year when that happened with the song All My Love, I remember thinking, okay, you know, Destiny's a good performer, you know, the song's okay, but I remember sort of feeling like, you know, oh, I was kind of hoping for something more. This year with Je m'casse, wow. The moment I heard it, I was like, winner. It just immediately grabbed me like that. This is the song I think that's been written for her vocal range perfectly. It lets her really show off her talent, and she's just got talent by the bucketful, so, you know, really shows that off. As we've said, it's got sort of current themes running through it. It's got very modern sense. It's got a little 20s edge to it. There's sort of that like little swing jazz thing in there, which I really like. Remind me a bit of Caro Emerald. But yeah, I just think there is so much here. There is so much that the televote's going to respond to, so much that the jury are going to respond to. And I did say for reviewing too that Malta have never won Eurovision before, and I suspect this is the last year we'll be able to say that.
Thanks, James. Nikki, what do you think of Malta's song this year?
Yes, again, I think everybody's been reading my notes. Much more catchy than last year. I mean, we know she's, I wasn't in Sofia, I'm afraid, but I did introduce her at London Eurovision when she won junior. And again, as you say, you know, everybody was gobsmacked at the strength of voice from this little girl backstage. Very, very strong song and voice, actually. Again, like you say, John, it ticks loads of boxes. That's exactly what I wrote. It ticks loads of boxes. Female empowerment is in there, which makes me sort of go the sax solo. I mean, Eurovision seems to have this thing about the sax thing. My one worry, and I agree with you, she is likely to win at some point, whether it's this year or whenever. My one worry is her becoming overconfident at any time, because she is very confident and very sassy, and that's fabulous. We just don't want it to become too much, because audiences don't go for that very much. But, you know, I mean, it as I say, it ticks every box going, and she's an amazing singer, and she'll she'll nail it. You know, she'll absolutely sail through.
Thanks, Nikki. Sarah, can you continue this?
Well, what more can I add, really? She's got class, she's got sass, she's got girl power, she has a fabulous voice, and she's got the personality to carry this song as well. Yeah, it just absolutely ticks all the boxes, screams winner at you from the moment you'll start to listen to it. My concern is the staging on the night. I think she's got to have some really good staging, and she's got the full package. Then this is going to sail through the semi-final, and I have a hunch we'll probably be in Valletta next year.
Thanks, Sarah. Finally, Bogdan.
What can I add more? Like, Malta wants to win, and we can see that. Malta wants to win. They've been waiting for a long time. And finally, I think this year is going to be their year, and well deserved. It won't be like, oh, we just have to hand it to you because we've been waiting patiently for so many years. No, this is a really good song. She has a phenomenal voice. Like everyone else said, ticks all the boxes. It has everything you would want for a jury perspective and anything you want from an audience perspective. It's entertaining. It's fun to watch. Hopefully, we're going to have a good staging as well. So yeah, Malta 2022. Why not? I'll vote for it.
Excellent. So Malta, 50 years after your first participation, can you win? Well, there's one more song to review, and that's Belgium. Ever present, pretty much ever present since 1956. They've picked the band that were going to go to Rotterdam last year. So it's Hooverphonic are back, and their song is called The Wrong Place. Now I'm leading off on this one. This is a dark song, isn't it? After Moldova's, I think this is the most disturbing video as well. Lots of, really? Ooh. Obviously, we're not going to see the video recreated on stage. At least I hope not.
We hope.
So I'm going to look on Hooverphonic as Hooverphonic, and they're a pretty good band. They're not, wet behind the ears. They've been around a while. They know the score. They know how to sell a song, how to write a song, how to perform a song. This is going to be a nice, safe performance. I don't doubt that at all. There's a dark edge to it, which might contrast interestingly with some of the the upbeat, happy, clappy stuff that's also going off in the same semi-final and the same contest, and it might strike a chord. I honestly have no idea how this will do. I don't think it's going to win. It's not going to come last. It could come third, or it could come last but one in its semi-final. I don't know. It might just be different enough where other songs could be cancelling each other out because they're similar. This one could like cut through and hoover up votes, coin a phrase. Other mates of vacuum cleaner are available. Do I like it? I don't dislike it. It's difficult to say. It's not my favourite. It's not my least favourite. I'd probably have it in the top half of my songs if I were to rank them all. They're a competent band. They'll sell it. And they've not had far to travel to Rotterdam. So there's a lot of stuff going in their favour. There could be some home support going their way as well. It's a qualifier, just about, I think, unless it does, benefit from a split vote from other songs. A winner, I don't think so, but it could surprise a few people, I think. James, Belgium, discuss.
Oh, Belgium could surprise a few people. I think they've been doing that at Eurovision for quite a few years now. I think they're always sort of up for something, I want to say edgy, but sometimes that edginess sort of veers almost into psychosis, and I think this is sort of treading that line a bit too much. I want to say I do like the song, because I know I've had discussions with members of this panel, and there's this sort of idea that I don't like the song. I do like it. I like the fact it's got that sort of blues sound to it. It's quite edgy. There's a darkness to it, which is nice. I just think my biggest problem with it is like, it's a sort of moody track from Belgium again. for the last half decade, it's been very similar sounds coming out of Belgium, and I think I'm just sort of craving something else now. Yeah, the band, they're consummate performers. I know they'll sell it well. They do a good job. I'm with John in the sense that I can see this either just getting through to the final or just missing out. I think it is going to be a fine line, and it will be sort of interesting to see how upbeat Europe is feeling that night. Yeah, the music video is bleak beyond all words. I remember I sort of watched it. You know, when you watch something and you're not quite sure what you're looking at, and then you think, did I just see that? I'll skip back to you. No, she does cut his head off. Okay, right, that's fine. That's just what we need a year. We've all been stuck inside contemplating darkness, and now we're going to enact that. And I think that was just a really strange idea. I'm sorry. I will reiterate, I don't dislike the song. I don't see it as a winner. I can see a route to it to the final, but yeah, it's please send something upbeat next year. You know, Laura Tesoro was good. You know, bring her back.
Thanks, James. Nikki, what did you think of Belgium?
I was just thinking after what you just said, James, if Europe's feeling upbeat on the night, they certainly won't be after this one. Belgium does like to push the boundaries. We know that. We've seen that before with their own little language in the song, etc. My first two words on this were brooding and morose, and then I put, some might say, dreary. It's not a difficult sing for the vocalist, so I can't see the juries even sort of voting high on it for the vocal technique or anything, because it's not a difficult song to sing. It's very haunting, it's very different. I just think, again, after the year that we've all had, I just think people will think, no, we need something positive. We don't want any more negativity. I'm glad actually that I didn't watch the video after the first sort of half a minute. I just listened to it. So what you're all telling me, I'm just glad I didn't. But no, it's really, I'm afraid it's not for me. It really was not. You can be haunting. I mean, Switzerland is haunting. Portugal is even quite haunting in a way, but this is just haunting and dark, as you say. We want some positivity at last, and this certainly isn't it.
Thanks, Nikki. Sarah, what have you got to say about Belgium?
Right, I've got to be a bit careful here because I've got Belgian friends. So seriously, I actually like this song. I know it's moody, but I've always liked the way that Belgium do push the boundaries. They always seem to send something that's a little bit different from everything else. And I kind of think back to 2003 and Sanami, and nobody really gave Sanami a chance of having any success at all. In fact, they were putting it right down at the bottom. But on the night, see, look what happened. It came second. And you just don't know which way the voting public are going to vote on the night. Now, it depends on how people are feeling. People have got very drunk, they might sort of might be feeling in the wrong place. The juries, I don't know. The juries, I don't see them going for something like this. I think there's much better songs that they will be judging on the night. It's very moody, it's very dark. It's a very, very indie style sort of song, and unless you're into that kind of music, then it's probably going to be one that's going to it's going to be a love-hate song. I think it's going to be you love it or you hate it. Will it qualify from the semi? I'm a bit so-so on it, really. It could qualify, just slip in there, just 9th, 10th, or it might not qualify at all. It could come right towards the bottom. As I say, it just all goes. It depends on how people are feeling on the night that they have to vote. And if it gets to the final, I think it would get completely lost amongst a lot stronger entries.
Thanks, Sarah. Bogdan, over to you.
Well, Hooverphonics are a professional band, definitely. And for me, this song is better than last year's song. I shouldn't compare them, but it's better. Having said that, it's not my cup of tea. I'm really sorry. I don't hate it, but it's not something I would listen willingly. I had to sit and listen to the song, and I managed to do it only once, and without any desire to hear it the second time, which says something. The audience, I don't know. It all depends on the staging. If they go for the dark side, it might be memorable, so the others might vote for it just because, like you all said, it's something different. It's something that might push some boundaries or something. Will it be the right reason to vote for it? I don't know, but it might be memorable from that point of view. Like others have said, I don't see the jury voting for it, or not massively. So it might scrape to the final, like just maybe qualify, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it.
It's Bogdan. Last but certainly not least, Richard, Belgium.
Yeah, it's certainly a very dark song, but it's a song that tells a story. However, I think the staging needs to help deliver that story. I don't think Hooverphonic singing without special effects will help deliver the song on its own. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just find it very middle of the road, a safe song. And if I heard it on the radio, I wouldn't instantaneously think, oh, that's Hooverphonic, you know, this year's Belgium entry. In terms of qualifying, if they do, it will just scrape through. I can't see it doing any better than that, to be honest.
Thanks, Richard. So that's our 6 songs for this review, final 6 songs. Now we're going to vote on them. We're each going to give a score out of 10, and we're going to ditch the lowest score, so it gives a total score out of 50. So we're going to start with Portugal. James.
I'm going to give Portugal 6.
6. Nikki.
I'm giving them 8.
8. Sarah.
6.
6. Bogdan.
I'm sorry, Portugal. It's a 4 from me.
4. Richard.
It's a 4 for me as well.
And I'm going to give it a 5. That's a score of 28 because we've ditched the 4 points. One of the 4 points because they were the lowest scores. Right, moving on. We now go to Ireland. Nikki, what's your score for Ireland?
I've gone for 7 for Ireland.
7. Sarah?
8.
8. Bogdan?
7.
7. Richard?
I know we haven't heard it sung live yet, but I love it, so 10.
10. I'm going to give it an 8. And James?
I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
That gives it a score of 40. Definitely high up there, that is. Next, we have Switzerland. And Sarah's going to start with this one.
10 from me.
7, sorry.
10.
10, sorry. 10. And Bogdan?
8.
8. Richard?
8.
8. It's worth an 8 from me as well, I think. James?
6.
6. And Nikki, what's your score for Switzerland?
I'm with James. I'm a 6, I'm afraid.
Virtual high five.
That's also a score of 40.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow, close. Right, what's next? It's San Marino. And Bogdan's going to lead off on this one.
A Dancy 7.
A 7. Richard?
Sorry, it's a 4 for me.
4. It's worth a 6 from me. James?
9.
9. Nikki?
I've gone for a 7.
7. And Sarah?
6.
That's a score of 33. Because we've ditched Richard's 4 there. Right, Malta next. Richard, kick off.
10.
10. I'm going to give it a 10 as well, because I said it was one of my 2 favourites of the contest. James?
1. No, just kidding, 10.
10. Nikki?
8.
8. Sarah?
10.
10. And Bogdan?
10.
That's a score of 50
Wow.
because we dropped the 8 points. It can't be beaten, but can it be equal? There's only one song left.
Oh, I wonder.
So, Belgium, I'm giving it a 6. James?
I'm going to give it a 6 as well.
Nikki, what's your score for Belgium?
5.
5. Sarah?
7.
7. Bogdan?
5 from me as well.
And finally, Richard?
I don't feel too bad now giving it a 6, to be honest.
6. That's a score of 29. So our scores from our panel review tonight in reverse order. In 6th place on 28 we have Portugal. On 5th place on 29 we have Belgium. On 4th place on 33 we have San Marino. Second equal with us both with a score of 40 are Ireland and Switzerland. And our winner tonight with a score of 50, a maximum, is Malta. It looks like Ireland, Eurovision Ireland's favourite is Destiny this year. Will it be her destiny? Feel free to tell us what you think of this. Do you agree with us? Do you think we're barking up the wrong tree? Or do you think we have a point in what we say? Now, before we sign off, have a quick chat with Nikki. Nikki, how are things anyway?
Things are going very well, thank you. Yes, I have been better, but I'm fine now, thank you. Yes, all doing well.
It's good to see you so well. Have you got stuff
you can't
coming
see
up?
behind the scenes, but that's okay.
Have you got stuff coming up you can tell us about, or have we got to watch this space?
Watch this space in just a couple of days, and all will be revealed. But it's Eurovision linked to celebrate 21 years now, because we couldn't celebrate the 20th last year since I did Eurovision. So 21 years, there will be something for everyone coming out, let's just say, and the details will be announced at the weekend. So yes, very excited.
Excellent. Take note, reader, viewer, listener. Okay, on that note, we're going to sign off from this 7th and final panel review. The contest starts very, very soon. We'll be covering it as best we can, blogs and more. So stay tuned to Eurovision Ireland's further coverage. So bye from James.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye from the First Lady of Eurovision, Nikki.
Go, James.
Absolutely. Bye from Sarah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye from Bogdan.
Bye, everyone. Stay
Bye
safe.
from Richard.
See you all soon.
And bye from me and Staggy. Take care, folks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.